and welcome to Present Times on Linux. Today we're going to be doing a little thing because, as you know, Linux is great as a desktop. Many of us use it, and a lot of people know that it's also great as a server, whether that be a FTP server or web server or NAS or anything else to do with serving. This is what Linux, rather than PCLinuxOS, was actually built for. So I'm going to show you a very easy way of setting up your own FTP server that can be used locally in your own network as well as over the internet, and without even touching the command line. It will just work, and I will show you how. So what we need to do is, on your taskbar down here, you have your start button and all this kind of business down here. What we're looking for is configure your computer, and you will also find this under settings and configure your computer, and it will ask you for your root password. Let's try that again, and you have the display comes up default as software management, and you have servers and sharing and whatever. It's the sharing that we want, and we want to configure FTP. Now, as you can see, this is the FTP configuration server, and this will help you to configure an FTP server on your network. So I will click next. It was telling me, warning, you have DHCP, which is true, I do, and it may not work with my configuration, but we'll go ahead anyway. Okay, we can configure the FTP server for your internal network, your intranet, and as an FTP server for the internet. Select the type of FTP you want to activate. I will click both of these boxes and click next. Okay, we'll give the server a name. At the moment, I've given it PCLinuxOS. I will not give an email for the admin, and I won't permit root logins. Okay, it's asking me which port. You can change the port here to anything that you wish. The default port is 21 for FTP. I will allow this. You also got a root home router, allow FTP resume, and allow FXP. I've left the FXP spare because I'm not quite sure what it is. So okay, it's telling me like the config that I've got so far, and I click next, and it goes away, and I have finished. I now have an FTP server. We can test the FTP server quite easily by just opening up your web browser. And although this will be tied to the local network, what I'll do is just go localhost, and it should tell me whether or not, and it is. As you can see, it's coming up with the username, password. I will use my own, just for argument's sake. There we go. And there we go. This is the FTP server. It's actually showing my home directory, which is what I designed it to do for the intranet. It allows me to see me. I can't show you what it does on that outside the local internet, and that's very well. So okay, you think, so you got your FTP server set up. What else can we do? Well, we can set up a web server. So why not do that? We go to the control center again, and we put in our root password, and this time we go to sharing, and this time we want to set up a web server. Now we know we haven't got any web server installed, and it's asking is not installed. Click next to install. So we will do that. We'll just click next. It says it's downloading and installing packages. We will allow it to do so. It takes a couple of seconds. None of this is edited. This is in real time. And we click next. And it's downloading and installing more packages. I'm not quite sure what it's installing at this time, but that's fine. And we get to the same configuration wizard, very similar to the FTP one. So it's telling me again that I'm using DHCP, and it's already ticked for the intranet and internet. So we'll carry on. And it says allow users to have the in-net home directory available in your HTTP server via yourserver.com / title user, title being home user. So that's fine. Name of which you would like to your server user, and we'll use the subdirectory public HTML, and that's also fine. And the document root will be var www.html, which is where the internet web server will point to when you try to access it from a remote destination. So we click next, and we click next again, and it's configured, and we have an intranet web server running. Apache is now running, and we know Apache is now running because we can go to Firefox, and we can go http I'll learn to type one day, localhost, and you can see this is a test FTP has come up, test page has come up, so you can now place stuff, or your web pages, etc. And to do this, you go to System, and this is just on PCLinuxOS, of course. I'll get a Conqueror, I'll go SSRD, and there we go. We need to go. It told me that it's going to be var www and in HTML. As you can see, I have an index to PHP there, so we can get up Firefox and see what that index to PHP is. So if I go to http /localhost, but it's only one index, or what was it, index 2 PHP by chance? Yes, it was index 2.php. And as you can see, it's basically the first page you see on my own website, the trinity.mypclinuxos.com, but without the screenshot there. And the reason the screenshot isn't there is because it's actually pointing to a local folder which doesn't exist, and the local folder does exist on the server. But as you can see, it renders fine, and this web server is up and running properly. I can of course change that. I have no way of trying, or although I could try, but I don't think it would work. And that's actually what I can do is use my phone to see if I'm allowed to access the web, and I am. I put in my IP address /index.php, and the phone has picked up the web page without any issues whatsoever. I'll just make sure that make sure it wasn't cached. There we go, and it is fully working. So that is excellent. I know you can't see that anywhere because I'm actually using my phone. I haven't got my phone mirrored, and my stomach just went ouch on me. So that's how we can set up a web server in PCLinuxOS. I hope you've learned something. Before I go, I want to thank my Patreons, Derek over at DistroTube, and for Michael, much appreciated. Also want to thank Red Robo Linux for his contributions, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you have a very good night. Farewell, and I'll see you soon. You take care.